Here at Northwestern State head coach Brad Laird, the Demons open spring practice 3:45 Thursday afternoon. And coach, I know you've been through the offseason, you've been through the future with recruiting. Now I'm sure you're ready to see the present, see these guys back out there on the field.
Yeah, when you start back in January, you start gearing yourself for the 2020 season. But there's phases that you go through, and this phase that we're going to start on Thursday as far as spring practice. 15 days on the field. This is always an exciting time because you've been through the off season. Now you get to go out and do some football and see what this team's going to be about. And that's what excites us, as a coaching staff and the players. They've worked so hard during the off season to be able to go out there, put a football in their hand and be able to play that and practice that for the next 15 days.
I know there are a lot of questions, and it's probably a lot of the same questions you had 2 years ago when you came in and you had your first spring practice. Number one being, who's your quarterback? And this will be 15 chances for those guys to kind of maybe shake some of that out.
Yeah, it's always exciting when you got competition. And I think as one of our goals as a coaching staff is identify who those guys are, identify who the starters are. Identify the depth. Who can we count on to play significant snaps from a depth perspective? So, the first position that you're going to look at is offensively whenever you lose a 2-year starter. But really excited about these three guys that are going to be able to battle for the next 15 practices. Will we get everything answered in those 15 practices? I think that's yet to be determined. We'll see after day one where we are going into day two, just like we'll see where we are practice 15 going into the summer.
When you look around, it's not just, you mentioned, we talked about the quarterback because that's what everyone sees, but I know there are other positions too. And you've got some guys that you brought in. You knew you had to, and you brought in a lot of mid-year guys from junior college, I believe 6 or 7. They came in. I know those are some guys you're certainly eager to see. You've seen them in the weight room. You've seen them probably through some unorganized things, not non-required things, but guys I know you're ready to see out there and see what they can do when they put the pads on.
I think, Jason, it's a combination of some of those older guys that we brought in where we identified the needs of what we wanted now, but combine that with guys that maybe have been just waiting in the background, that's been here for a couple of years, that are going to get that opportunity to showcase. They should have the opportunity to play. And that's the thing that we look forward to when we watch these 15 practices, to see who those guys are that step up in all three phases. We're going to talk offensively. We talked about the quarterback position. We'll talk defensively. Who are the guys that are going to step up defensively and be the guys, but also special teams. We've got to find 11 guys for each special team unit that's going to win football games for us. That's something that we're going to look at very hard this spring, because we felt like after you reflect on the 2019 season, we have to be better in special teams. We want to be the most physical football team. We have got to be a physical football team on both sides of the ball and in special teams. That's one thing that we'll find out after the spring. Who's going to be physical? Who's going to be when it's 4th and 1, when it's 3rd and 2, that we can count on in all three phases to make plays.
15 practices, I'm sure growth will be the message throughout.
No doubt. We want to be better day one than we were day 2. We want to look back and be better after practice 15 than we were practice 1 through 14. I think as we continue to progress as a football team, we've got to see that day in and day out over the next 4 weeks.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.